Guys, ever been watching a soccer game and wondered why goalkeepers just look so clueless or foolishly just stand there while, other players like Ronaldo or Neymar are able to so consistently score free kicks? You just wonder, they'd stand there and why can't they practice to save them? Well, there's a technique called a knuckleball where the ball can waver just, unpredictably in the air. You apply little to no spin on the ball, apply no follow through, and you strike the ball directly in the center where you see this pink slip right here. You want to place the ball right like that and strike it directly through the center. It applies no spin at all. That's basically how they're able to do it. So the first step to mastering it is figuring out your run up and making sure I'm going to do this presentation from the perspective of a right-footed player, as I am. So you're going to make sure you have your run up set up properly. Typically in a free kick, as a right-footed player, you're going to take 2 steps back and 1 step to the right, and you're going to lean over the ball as you strike it. This is so that you don't send it over the crossbar and you have more control. However, in a knuckleball, you're not going to want to put any curve on the ball, so you're going to lean back. You're going to have your chest puffed out. You're still going to take your typical 2-3 steps back, 1 step to the left, but you're going to have your chest puffed out as you strike the ball, and you're going to stop right there. You're not going to follow through. You're going to stop right as you strike the ball. Also, you're going to make sure you place the ball on the spot on the turf where it is least elevated. So if you get about a 2 to 3 foot area that you can put the ball in when you're in a dead ball scenario, turf is going to vary. It's going to be a couple inches high, maybe a couple inches shorter. You want to put it at the lowest spot you can because you don't want the ball to rise. You want all the power and the height of the ball, you want all that to generate from your leg. No other variable should be in there because you don't want to apply any backspin or any topspin to the ball. Next, the hardest part, where to strike the ball and where you want it to hit your cleat. So, as I said before, if the ball is placed flat on the ground, you want the valve of the ball to be directly in the center. The reason they say the valve is because obviously the sticky note won't be there during the soccer game. Just a good place to tell where you want to kick the ball. You want to place the valve directly in front of you. Some people also say the valve is the hardest part of the ball, but I'm not sure about that. Place it there, strike it directly through. You want to make sure you hit it with this part of your foot. Now, on most free kicks, you hit it right here because, this obviously has the most cushioning. They make cleats, they design cleats to be the best spot to kick the ball. For the knuckleball, however, there's a bone in your foot right here. That generates the most power. You're going to hit it right on that bone. Also, hit it with the side of your foot, you have more margin for error. If you hit it here, 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 you'll be fine. Hit it right here, it could go anywhere. You'll apply spin to the ball. This, more sturdy contact, and you'll hit the ball essentially just like this. You want to strike it just like that. That'll generate the best knuckleball. Now, like I said before, the follow-through, you don't want any follow-through. So typically a follow-through on a free kick is used to apply spin or curve to the ball. So as you were saying before, you saw the Ronaldo free kick today, he curved it around the wall. With that, he put his foot like that. After he kicked it, he applied the spin to the ball. With a knuckleball, you want no spin. You want the ball to basically remain motionless through the air, and as it just flies like this. You don't want it to spin back, you don't want it to spin forward, you don't want it to curve side to side. So, eliminating the follow-through will help you do that. Now, we discussed the technique. You want to make sure you analyze the position of the defender. So obviously, if the defenders, you look at the goalie, you look at the defenders, you want to make sure that it's the right time to use the knuckleball. It's basically only useful when it's a dead ball scenario, so like a free kick or like a penalty kick and such. Not really useful if the ball is moving at all because there's too many variables in that scenario. So, as a right-footed player, the ideal scenario to use it is when the defenders are to your right, which would mean the goalkeeper is to your left. They set up their defense in such a way to cover as much space as possible. So the goalie will be on your left, defenders will be on your right. As a right-footed player, this is ideal because you're going to strike the ball simply this way, just like that, have the ball go above the wall of defenders and dip underneath the crossbar. As it dips under the crossbar, it should dip right before the crossbar. Should not be dipping before, should not bounce on the ground. The ideal knuckleball will keep rising until the very last second and dip at the very end. That's what makes it so unpredictable, so difficult to save. It looks like it's flying over the bar and it will just dip real fast. like I said before, if you place the ball, or if you strike the ball too low as well, the ball will rise. In a technique like a knuckleball, the only way you can fool the keeper is with power. You're not spinning the ball, you're not curving it, so you want it to kick it as hard as possible. With that, if you strike it too low, kick it as hard as possible, the ball is going to go clear the crossbar, end up in the third stands. Kick it too high on top of the ball is just going to roll on the ground, hit the wall. Now you're going to look dumb. So, as well, your run-up. You want to focus on the speed of your run-up. Your run-up, usually you want to run real fast, as fast as you can, through the ball and follow through the ball. With a knuckleball, you barely want to, you want to jog, basically walk. You want to focus on, stare at the ball, stare at your foot. You want to focus on the contact point of the ball. That is basically the key to making sure the knuckleball flies perfectly. So, jog up to it, swing your foot, contact it with this bone right here in your foot. Easier to see on a cleat right here. You want to make sure you kick it directly in the center of the ball. Have no follow through, apply no spin to the ball, and ideally have the ball dip right underneath the crossbar, right before or right after the goalkeeper sees it. And you can't do anything about it. And although I gave you 3 easy steps, not easy to master. It's very easy to learn, very difficult to master. I've been playing soccer for like 18 years. I've been trying this technique for like 3. I've only hit probably 2 or 3 perfectly in my life. Ronaldo probably would be lucky if he's able to kick one in a game. That's why he rarely tries it. It's more for looking good on TV, if you want to impress people, whatever. It's not really a practical thing. It's too risky to try in a game because, it could fly into like the 3rd tier, it could roll on the ground. It won't be very effective, but if you're good enough at it, might as well try. That's it.
Thank you.